Deva Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is a very means of conquest, which is one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namami Damodara Pada Pankajam Karomi Damodara Pujanam Sada Vadami Damodara Nama Nirmalam Smarami Damodara Leela Sundaram. Hare Krishna. Dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 4, Gajendra returns to the spiritual world. So after Vandanam becomes the freedom from Vandanam. Back home, back to Godhead. So yesterday we read about the crocodile. Who knows his name without seeing the book? What was his name in the previous life? And who was he?
Who?
And who was he?
Gandharva.
Gandharva. Who cursed him?
Devala Rishi.
Devala Rishi cursed him. Why did he curse him?
He was trying to hold the leg of the, I think, Rishi.
Yes, and I think that's going to come very soon. So we discussed that how curse is a blessing. We discussed various examples as well. And we also discussed about that how circumambulation. So who circumambulated offered prayers and went back. So let's read the next verse, text number 6. Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshad Vimukto Jnana Bandhanat Prapto Bhagavato Rupam Pitavasas Chaturbhujaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because Gajendra, king of the elephants, had been touched directly by the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was immediately freed from all material ignorance and bondage. Thus he received the salvation of Sarupya Mukti, in which he achieved the same bodily features as the Lord, being dressed in yellow garments and possessing four hands. Purport: if one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by having his gross body touched by the Lord, his body turns into a spiritual body, and he can go back home, back to Godhead. Gajendra assumed a spiritual body when his body was touched by the Lord. Similarly, Dhruv Maharaj assumed the spiritual body in this way. Archana Paddhati, daily worship of the deity, provides an opportunity to touch the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus it enables one to be fortunate enough to get the spiritual body and go back home, back to Godhead. Not only by touching the body of the Supreme Lord, but simply by hearing about his pastimes, chanting his glories, touching his feet, offering worship. In other words, by serving the Lord somehow or other, one is purified of material contamination. This is the result of touching the Supreme Lord. One who is a pure devotee, Anyavilashita Shunyam, who acts according to the Shastra and the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, certainly becomes purified. Like Gajendra, he assumes a spiritual body and returns back to Godhead. So again, this verse is not that difficult. So let's try to understand the meaning. Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshad. Anyone not knowing any of the three words? Gajendra, Bhagavan, Bhagavat, Sparsha. Sparsha is touch. So what happened? The king of the elephants being touched by the Supreme Lord. Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat. Vimukta is freedom. Ajnana, Jnana is knowledge, Ajnana is darkness or ignorance. And ignorance is binding, right? From all kinds of ignorance, especially the body. So what's the biggest ignorance? The bandhan, bhava bandhan. Can anyone tell any other verse where we see the word bandhan? No. Chinatse ghoram yamapasha bandh. Vinatse bhimam bhavapasha bandh. Right? Chaurashtakam. So, Jnana Bandhan. Ajnana Bandhan, not Jnana Bandhan, sorry. Ajnana Bandhan. The bandhan of darkness or ignorance. So, freedom, Vimukta, right? We have heard this word many, many times. Mukti is liberation. Vimukti is special liberation, not immediately freed. Prapto, Bhagavat, and what did he get? Prapta means to get. What did he get? Bhagavato Rupam. So, Sa Rupa. There are 5 types of liberation. He got Sarupya Mukti. Sa means same, Rupa means form. Bhagavat form. The form like the Supreme Lord. That is the 4-handed form. Pita Vasa Chaturbhajam. See? Pita is yellow. Vasa is clothes, the yellow garments of the Supreme Lord. Pitambaram is Pitambardhari. His words is the name of Kṛṣṇa. Chaturbhujam is, see, so simple to understand this verse and to memorize. Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshad Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat Prapto Bhagavat Rupam Pitavasas Chaturbhuja. So Gajendra, so first is what happened to Gajendra? He got the touch. And what happens when one gets a touch of the Lord? Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat. So when the darkness is destroyed, then one gets the true thing. The coverings are gone. Darkness is gone. The true thing is what? Sarupya Mukti. And what it looks like? Sarupya Mukti? Pitavasa Chaturbhujam. Isn't it easy to understand? Who can recite this practically without seeing? Anyone? Wants to try? Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshad Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat Prapto Bhagavato Rupam Pitavasas Chaturbhujam. Bhujaha. Yes, Pravir Prabhu wants to recite. Please tell.
Gajendra Bhagavat Pashad Vimukta Ajnana Bandhanat Prapta Bhagavat Rupam Pita Basha Chaturbhuja.
So easy and so sweet. Simple words, all of you may be knowing already. Close your eyes and just think. First, Gajendra was touched. Gajendra Bhagavat Sparsha. Okay, Sparsh ho gaya. Fir kya hua? Oh, the darkness was destroyed. Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat. Okay, darkness is destroyed, then what will happen? Then he'll get the constitutional form. What is that constitutional form? Bhagavat Rupa Prapto. He got Prapto Bhagavat Rupa. And what does that Rupa look like? Pitavasas Chaturbhuja. So just close your eyes and meditate upon this as if it's happening right in front of you, and then you'll be able to memorize this and without any extra effort. isn't it? Just think, close your eyes and just meditate this. The Lord is touching. Gajendra's darkness is destroyed. He gets a spiritual body, and how that spiritual body looks like? Very simple. Who wants to try? Close your eyes and just try.
Prabhuji,
Ji,
is there a significant about this form, like the forehand? I mean, I understand, Lord has that forehand form with conch shell, disc, club, and lotus. But once, if you are touched by God, so what's the significance of the soul having this form? Like, is there a theory behind having a forehand or some forehand with the different equipments, or like, is it like, why don't we just have like the normal form? Like, what's the reason? Is it something like is there a theory behind it, or is it like the heavenly form is like that?
it's not heavenly, it's the form in the Vaikuntha. In the Vaikuntha planets, and those who get the Sarupya Mukti, there are 5 different types of liberation: Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, Sarshti, and Sayujya. So Sarupya means same, Sa means same, Rupa means form. So when we refer to this, so all the Vaikuntha-vasis, that means Jain Vijay, we have read that before, that how the gatekeepers they also had this form. Now in Goloka Vrindavan, no one has this 4-handed form. Everyone has that 2-handed form. Krishna does not have the 4-handed form. Krishna has the source of all forms, the source of all incarnations, including Vishnu, we have discussed multiple times, is the Supreme Lord. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Krishna has multiple incarnations, like there are Kurma avatar. So in that Kurma planet, which is also in Vaikuntha planets, he has the Kurma form. There is Narsingha form in the Narsingha planet in the spiritual world. There is Varaha form in the Varaha planet. So all these, they have the spiritual planets. They're all in the spiritual realm or the spiritual world. So in that there is also Vaikuntha, where those who want to serve the Lord with awe and reverence is primarily in Dasya Bhav. They go to Vaikuntha planets, which is also great. But as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we aspire the topmost, Raja Prema. That's what Lord Chaitanya came to give us. The topmost, Prema Pumartho Mahan, the Prema of the gopis of Vrindavan towards Krishna. That unalloyed prema, that the topmost Madhurya Rasa. So the point is that yes, in different planets in spiritual world, there is different incarnations of the Supreme Lord. And over there, the devotees also have different forms. So the other significance they are referring to Shankha and Chakra. So Shankha is for blessings. Shankha and Chakra, Gada and Padma. Padma, the lotus, and the conch is for blessing the devotees. So in 2 hands he blesses the devotees. We have read that in the Dhruv Maharaj story. In the 2 hands are Chakra and Shankha, Gada. So that's for the non-devotees to destroy them. So does that help? Or?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, who has memorized the verse? Raise your hand if you can. Close your eyes and just say the verse without. Don't worry about little bit Sanskrit here and there, the grammar. Like if you say Bhujaha or Bhujaya, don't worry about it. But the essence, if you remember. Who can say without, just close your eyes and just say the verse. Not yet? Okay, one more time, everyone. I want everyone to learn this verse. Okay, so close your eyes. Just focus on this. So first step, what's happening? Gajendra has been touched by the Supreme Lord. Okay, just think about that. Gajendro Bhagavat Sparsha. Bhagavat Sparsha. Sparsh, touch ho gaya. Who is Sparsha? Bhagavat Sparsha. Upon whom? Gajendra. So Gajendro Bhagavat Sparsha. Now what happens when one is touched by the Lord? Vimukta Ajnana Bandhanat. अज्ञान के बंधन से विमुक्त हो जाएंगे. You'll be freed from all the darkness of ignorance. What's the biggest darkness? Bodily conception. that I'm the body, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm rich or poor, engineer or doctor or this or that. All those bondage, vimukta ajnana bandhana. When one is free from that bodily conception, then that means one is in pure conception of one's constitutional position. And what does one get? Prapta Bhagavato Rupam. Same Rupa as the Supreme Lord. That one gets Prapta. And what does that Rupa look like? Two features are explained. The color of the dress and the number of hands. Pita Vasas Chaturbhuja. Okay. So now who can tell? Who will raise your hand if you can tell with closing your eyes and that. Sudhir Prabhu, please.
I can try, Prabhuji.
Close your eyes and just absorb and tell.
Gajendro Bhagavat Sparshat Vimukto Ajnana Bandhanat Prapto Bhagavato Rupam Pitavasas Chaturbhujam.
See, very nice. Everyone can sing this nicely and see. Then the shloka becomes fun. It becomes not just learning like a parrot, but understanding. So now what does the sparsha? It's not that, okay, well, will I win? How will my ignorance be killed? How will my ignorance, the bondage of ignorance? Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that it's not that. So, firstly, one is serving the deities, one is touching Krishna. One is touching the beads, the Tulasi Mala. It's like the lotus feet of the spiritual, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, one is touching the body of the Lord. Mukund Ling Alya. So, he used to touch the Amrish Maharaj, used to the Savai Mana Krishna Padara. So, Mukunda Ling Alya. That means he was touching with the hands, with the sparsha. How can we engage in the service of the Lord? By touching. So by reading, by hearing, we're touching Bhagavatam, right? What is this? This is not different from Krishna. If we have that understanding. So it's not that touching only means deity worship. We have discussed Bhagavatam is not different from deity worship. Chanting also is equally, or chanting is the best medicine. It's touching the Supreme Lord because Kali Kali Namarupe Krishna Avatar. There's no difference between the name and the Supreme Lord. The other name is more powerful than the Lord. There's one difference. So all these activities, any act of devotion is basically the touch of the Supreme Lord. If we have that understanding. So basically we can be purified of all our darkness and vimukta, jnana bandhanat, and be situated in our true form and go back home, back to Godhead. Any comments, questions, additions? Okay, so please make an effort to learn this verse, share with your family, friends, and it's not that difficult. Some of you have already memorized, which is good. Let's move on to the next verse. Yes, Punah Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam everyone. Savai Purvama Pudha Raja Pandeyo Dravida Satam Indradhumna Iti Kyato Vishnu Brataparayana. Translation by His Divine Grace Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. This Gajendra had formerly been a Vaishnava and the king of the country known as Pandya, which is in the province of Dravida, South India. In his previous life, he was known as Indradhumna Maharaja. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So Gajendra's past life is explained here, or starting to be, to explain. Srila Shukdev Goswami is explaining about Gajendra's past life. So very, very straightforward. Vishnu Vrata Parayana. Prabhupada is mentioning the word for word. Who was a first-class Vaishnava, always engaged in the service of the Lord. So Vishnu Parayana, Narayana Para Veda, or Vishnu Parayana, Narayana Parayana are not easy. Narayana Ayana are many, but Parayana, complete, Prakṛṣṇa Rūpena Nishtha, are very, very rare. Very, very rare. They are, so he was a first-class Vaishnava, not just a neophyte. So let's see, he was the king of country known as Pandya, Dravid Desh, South India. So, which also is a great example that it shows that Raj Rishi was a Raj Rishi basically. He was a king at the same time great soul. So it's not that one has to be a brahmachari only or a mendicant to be a great Vaishnava. We all should aspire to be first class Vaishnava, no matter what our current situation is, whether one is whatever situation is, a king or a pauper. And first class Vaishnava means complete devotion to Lord Hari. So let's see what happened. The story just begins. Once upon a time, this was going on. There was a king. Maswati Mataji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees. Dhanavad pranam to everyone. Text 8. Shaika dharadhana kala atmavan grahita mona brata iswaram harim jata dharas tapasa apluto chutyam samarchayam asa kalu kalasramaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Indradumna Maharaja retired from family life and went to the Malaya hills, where he had a small cottage for his ashrama. He wore matted locks on his head and always engaged in austerities. Once, while observing a vow of silence, he was fully engaged in the worship of the Lord and absorbed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead. So Indradumna Maharaja is went to Banprastha and there what he is doing, that's what explained in this translation. Prabhupada is explaining in the translation. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So, very, very important point that when he retired, he didn't go to beaches of Florida to get sunbath or take a beach home and relax. He went to an ashram to always engage in austerities. So retirement does not mean just sit at home and just relax. Retirement, which we all should plan, we all plan for that, or should plan for that. That means more active spiritual engagement. That means my life now, a major portion, more than 50-60% life or 70% life goes, right? And then the last phase is left. So now no one lives till 100 years, maybe very few. So let's say 75 years. So if one retires at 50, that's also very rare, or 55. So basically the very last part of the life is left. So it's a great lesson that we should engage more in austerities, more chanting, more reading, more hearing, less focus on bodily needs. So vow of silence, vacho vegam. Let's see the Sanskrit word. Mauna vrata is used here. Now, Mauna we have discussed, Vachovegam does not mean to not speak anything. Vachovegam means to take Mauna from the nonsense of this world, to only talk about Lord Hari and to talk in anything in that relation or devotional service. Fully engaged in the worship of the Supreme Lord. Jatadhara. Jatadhara means jata, the matted hair. That means they don't even have time to take care of the body. Of course, we don't have to follow that unless one is at really that level that one doesn't even have 2 minutes to take care of the hair. So, but the principle is so much attachment to Krishna that he doesn't have like 1 minute to take care of the hair. The jata is growing and matting and matted hair. So much absorbed in Krishna. But as Vaishnavas, we should be clean, and our hairs, our body should be clean because we are a preaching movement. Any other comments or questions? Additions? This word Malay comes here in the Malay hills. This word Malaysia actually comes, we discuss the Chandan, Malay Chandan, in the story of Shirchor Gopinath, Sri Madhavendra, right? So the southern part of India, and then now the Malaysia side. So Malaysia word comes from Malay, the Malay hills. That's how it's connected. Okay. Yes, I think Shri Shreya Mataji. Jyoti Mataji, want to say something?
I would like to read, Prabhuji, the next one.
Okay, sure, please.
Just calculate.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. Text 9. Yadrichaya tatra mahayasha munihi samagamichhasya gane parishritaha tam viksha tushnim akratar anadikam rahasyupasi namrishchukopaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Translation by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charna Ravinda Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While Indradumna Maharaj was engaged in ecstatic meditation, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great sage Agastya Muni arrived there, surrounded by his disciples. When the Muni saw that Maharaj Indradumna, who was sitting in a secluded place, remained silent and did not follow the etiquette of offering him a reception, he was very angry. So back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, the story moves forward. The king had retired and was doing tapasya, completely absorbed, the vow of silence, completely focused in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then there comes the great sage. So, in the story of Parikshit Maharaj also, we see that. So, I think yesterday I misspoke, so I want to apologize for that. I said like Parikshit Maharaj was meditating, but actually the Shamik Rishi was meditating, and Parikshit Maharaj was thirsty, or that Leela was to happen, so he felt thirsty, and he felt that the Shamik Rishi did not pay attention. As a result, he put the dead snake over him. And then when his son Shringi came back, he cursed that whoever put the snake will be bit by Takshak snake in 7 days. So that was the episode. Similar kind of story. And that was the fault, not the fault of the sage, because he was absorbed. In this case also, Indradumna Maharaj was not really at fault, because it's not that he knowingly did not pay attention to the great Agastya Muni. But these are great pastimes to teach us lessons and for the divine will of the Lord. Because the Lord wants this pastime to happen. Lord Hari had to come, Gajendra had to come, etc. So this was a divine arrangement. Lord chooses his special first-class devotees. We read that he is a first-class devotee to orchestrate these pastimes, right? Like Jai and Vijay also were first-class devotees, but they became the demons. So did not follow the etiquette of offering him reception. That's an important point. Vaishnava etiquette is important. So there's a whole manual on Vaishnava etiquette. We must try to follow it. Vaishnava etiquette is very, very important. Putting tilak, offering obeisance to devotees, offering obeisance to Tulsi Maharani. What are the do's, what are the don'ts? Not spreading legs in front of the devotees or the deities. And there's so many things. I'm just giving some, how to offer bhoga, how to chant, how to take care of Tulsi Maharani, how to do parikrama, how to offer arti. Basic things are there, but we must try to follow that. How to talk in front of deities. We should not shout. We should not express anger, especially in front of deities. How to absorb ourselves. So many details are mentioned in that Vaishnava etiquette. So we should follow the Vaishnava etiquette. How to receive guests. How to be a good guest. There are etiquettes for host. There are etiquette for guest. So many things are there. Any other comments or questions?
Prabhuji, this Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One quick question, Prabhuji. Here Indradumna was kind of meditating, and he did not notice that Agastya Muni was coming. So, do we still say that it is a sin that we did not notice that Guru had come? When they were meditating.
Yes, these are special cases. Another example, which is very, very similar, Rupa Goswami was meditating upon the divine pastime of the Lord. You ever heard this story? Then he was meditating, and he was seeing, oh, Kṛṣṇa is playing with Srimati Radharani, and Kṛṣṇa goes on top of the tree, and Radharani wants to pick flowers, but she can't reach it. So Kṛṣṇa, with his leg, pushes that branch down, so Radharani can pick the flowers. And then Radharani tries to jump and catch the flowers. And then Kṛṣṇa releases that his leg from that branch, and then Radharani is in the air hanging from the branch. And upon seeing this great pastime of the Lord and his beloved Radharani, Rupa Goswami is laughing and laughing. It's that's the sweetness of the Madhur Leela, the Leela Madhuri of the Supreme Lord. But there was a Brahmana or a devotee who had some bodily discomforts or his, I guess he had some bodily issues like some skin disorder or I'm forgetting that some bodily disorder was there. So he felt that this person is laughing on me. When someone is, let's say, has some bodily difficulties, and then a group of people laugh, then that person may feel that, oh, these people are laughing on my bodily challenges, right? So suddenly that vision was gone from Rupa Goswami's, that divine vision. Rupa Goswami was not thinking about his bodily challenges, but then he consulted with his brother Sanatana, and then it was found, and then he went and communicated back. So the question I asked, same question I asked, that, well, I mean, it was no fault of directly like Rupa Goswami. He didn't intend to hurt him. He didn't want to hurt that person. He didn't want to say anything wrong. But these are the highest like standards, which shows that even unknowingly it's like this much. So how much we should be very, very careful to at least not make an offense knowingly. So that's the lesson there. Unknowingly we cannot control in this age. Therefore, we should always beg for forgiveness, and we should always genuinely pray to the Lord that, Lord, at least I don't make any offense knowingly, and unknowingly I may have made lot of offenses. So please forgive me of my shortcomings. So if we sincerely pray in that humble mood, then the Lord within our heart will make sure that the message communicates to their heart, and it should be fine. So knowingly we should not do, and unknowingly we should beg for forgiveness as well. These are like the. Does that help?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. Thank you.
Very nice question, Prabhu. You want to read, Prabhu? You can't, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 10. Tasma imam spam ada asadur ayam duratma krata buddhir adyam vipravatma viswatma tamisram yata gajah sadbaha mati sa eva. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Prabhupada Ki Jai. Agastya Muni then spoke this curse against the king. The king Indradumna is not at all gentle. Being low and uneducated, he has insulted a Brahmana. May he therefore enter the region of darkness and receive the dumb body of an elephant. Purport. An elephant is very strong. It has a very big body, and it can work very hard and eat a large quantity of food, but its intelligence is not at all commensurate with its size and strength. Thus, in spite of so much bodily strength, the elephant works as a menial servant for a human being. Agastya Muni thought it wise to curse the king to become an elephant because the powerful king did not receive Agastya Muni as one is obliged to receive a Brahmana. Yet, although Agastya Muni cursed Maharaj Indradumna to become an elephant, the curse was indirectly a benediction for by undergoing one life as an elephant. Indradumna Maharaj ended the reactions of all the sins of his previous life. Immediately after the expiry of elephant's life, he was promoted to Vaikuntha Loka to become a person associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, in a body exactly like that of a Lord. This is called Saurabhya Mukti. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
What did you get from this, Prabhu?
First, I understood it's always important to respect Brahmanas, which is because they are the highest level. They are at the highest level, and because he kind of knowingly or unknowingly he has insulted Agastya Muni. So, in order to make him know what kind of sin he has done, Agastya Muni cursed him as an elephant, where it doesn't think about which is an animal that doesn't think, even though it has a huge body. So he said, like, okay, this is the right thing because you did not think what you are doing. It would be a right thing to get into. So that's why he made him. He made him an elephant in the next life. But as soon as his sins kind of ended, he got a benediction from Narayana and reached Vaikuntha Loka in the same body form of Narayana. Back to you, Prabhu. Sorry if I have spoken anything wrong.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Agastya Muni cursed King Indradumna. Stabda Mati. Stabda is like fixed, or fixed in the sense like Jada. Elephant is so big, but a little child, a trained child who is maybe 1/100th of elephant's weight can control the elephant. Correct? That's the. So his intelligence is not proportional to his size. Correct? Big body should have big brain, but so Indradumna didn't act very intelligently according to the sage. But of course, we have discussed that it is not a curse; it is a curse in disguise. So it's a curse in disguise.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Dev Kamat, you want to say something or?
Sorry, I cannot act. Bhagavatam. I got it wrong.
Okay. So I hope everyone can hear me. What was I saying? Yeah, the size is not proportional. And yeah, curse is a blessing. It was not a curse really, it is a blessing in disguise, because in the very next lifetime, he got the Sarupya Mukti. Out of the 5 types of liberation, Sarupya Mukti is one, and Sayujya is not what devotees aspire. Sayujya is impersonal liberation, but to merge in the Lord's effulgence, that's not really the personal form. Sarupya is to get the same form of the Lord. Salokya is Salok, same Loka. Sarupya, Sarshti, the same opulence. Samipya, to be close, Samip. So Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, Sarshti, and Sayujya. These 5 types of liberation are there.
Prabhuji,
Ji.
I'm sorry. So actually, like, what kind of like mukti should we aspire?
We should, the ideal is actually Gopir Bhartur Pad Kamale or Das 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 Das. Na Dhanam, na Janam, na Sundare. Even the great pure souls like Prahlad, what is he praying? He is not praying, take me back home. So that's a very, very high level that they don't even aspire for liberation. They say, heaven or hell, cat or dog, I only aspire to be your servant. Because for that level of devotion, that level of devotee, he is always in transcendental. He is always meditating upon the divine forms of the Lord. So for such a person, everywhere is transcendental. Like Srila Prabhupada, whether it is the Jaladuta ship or Sri Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, or the ghettos of New York, or the royal temples like Fisher Mansion, everywhere they're equipoised. Everywhere, because they are remembering Sri Radha and Krishna. So that's like they have no But in general, we say back home, back to Godhead. So we also say Moraya Bhilash Vilas Kunje Diyovas. So we are aspiring for Goloka Vrindavan. That's actually the highest. As Gaudiya Vaishnava aspire to go back home, back to Godhead. And even in that back home, back to Godhead, referring to Goloka Vrindavan. So that's our destination.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it's Sarupya, Salukya, Samipya, Sasti, and the last one is?
Sayujya.
What is that one, Prabhuji?
Sayujya is to merge in the effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti as an impersonal liberation, where even the demigods who Krishna kills, or the Lord's incarnations killed, or the yogis who meditate upon the impersonal aspect of the Lord, they go there.
Okay.
Impersonal liberation. But Damodar month is going on. Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksha Va. Right? Nacha Nyavrane Hambare Shadapiha. Idam Teva Purnatha Gopal Balam. Sadame Manasya Virastam Kimanye. What is he praying for? He is not praying for moksha. Varam Deva Moksha Na Moksha Vadim. What do we give? To give always the remembrance of Gopala Balam, to give the remembrance of the beautiful name, form, qualities of the Lord. That's the prayer of a devotee. But they don't pray for liberation. Many examples are there.
Prabhuji, just one more question. I'm sorry.
No, I am sorry. I'm grateful to you.
So Prabhuji, when we say that I want a liberation, right? So, like, please correct me if I'm wrong. Is like when we say about liberation, is like we want liberation from the material world, right? So, but when we go in the spiritual world, won't we be doing bhakti more properly over there? Like not properly, I would say, but like, like I think in spiritual world there would be more like environment would be like more focused and more like razor sharp compared to like in material world. So that is why if we take a liberation, that would be more advancement, or like how is it? Like should we ask for liberation or should we not ask for liberation?
We should ask God, please help me to intensify my devotional service. That's what we should ask for. If we intensify, please give me the association of devotees more. Please develop my taste to chant your names more, to hear your pastimes more. So if we pray for that, then naturally, Vimukta Jnana Bandhan. Vimukta Jnana Bandhan. So what is ignorance? Ignorance is taste towards matter. Correct? Biggest ignorance is I'm the body, and things in relation to body are meant for my enjoyment. We should pray that our attachment to bhakti increases, our attachment to reading and hearing increases, chanting increases, reading Bhagavatam increases, serving Prabhupada increases, eagerness, enthusiasm. Then, Maro bhi rakho bhi ami to tumhara. Krishna, whatever you decide. You decide me to keep here, okay, I'll continue to be here. If you decide, okay, I should go back home and serve there, it's fine. So it's not that we should think that, okay, if I go to spiritual world, then my bhakti will increase. It's like one has to first prove because going to spiritual world is a big thing. One has to prove and get the first Damodar Lila, 2 fingers, Kripa, Kar and Pa. जो करेगा वो पाएगा, बिना करे कोई नहीं पाएगा. So we have to show by our enthusiasm, by our endeavor, then the mercy will happen. माता यशोदा को भी पसीना पसीना हो गया. स्वमातु स्विन्न गात्राय विस्तरस कबरस रजा दृष्ट्वा परिश्रमम कृष्ण कृपयासीत स्वबंधने. जब भगवान कृष्ण ने दृष्टवा परिश्रमम, माता को परिश्रम करते देखा. When he saw Krishna Mata Yashoda is doing lot of parishram to catch me. Then Kripya si swabandhane. Krishna decided to be caught out of his own choice by the love of his devotee. That's because of the endeavor, and then the mercy follows. So without endeavor, without sincerity, it will not happen. We have to try, to pray. I know there are a lot of shortcomings in me. I want to try, I want to do better under the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra, under authority. My mind does not want to follow authority. We recently read this bhajan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. My mind wants to do one's own shasana. My mind wants to reject the authority and do one's own whims and fantasies, acts upon one's own whims and fantasies. So, but if we follow the right process, the right direction, then slowly and surely we'll make progress.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your wonderful questions. Anyone wants to add or anything or any comments around this topic before we end today's discussion? All these I'm speaking for myself, and all of you are asking questions so that I can reiterate to myself. Let's see who all remember that verse, first verse. Who can still remember without seeing? Anyone remembers? Raise your hand. My goal is today I'll just want to push it in your memory very deep. Close your eyes, okay? Close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes and just meditate upon this Leela. First thing was happened, Sparsha. Who touched whom? Gajendra, Bhagavat Sparsha. Gajendra ko kiska sparsha hua? Bhagavan ka. Gajendra, Bhagavat Sparsha. What happens after Sparsha? All the darkness goes away. Darkness refers to Ajnana. Ajnana Bandhana. Vimukto Ajnana Bandhana. Darkness is destroyed. What happens when all darkness is destroyed? The constitutional position appears. Prapta Bhagavat Rupam. Same form. Sarupya Mukti. Bhagavat Rupam Prapta. Mila. Usko. Gajendra ko. And what was that Rupa? Two features. The dress, the color of the dress, and the number of hands. Pitavasa Chaturbhuja. Easy? Who can tell this verse now? Who all can tell? Not just one or two. I want like everyone should be able to tell. Kashish Mataji, you want to try? Yeah, close your eyes. Think about this, 4 lines and just speak.
Should I start?
Yes, Mataji.
I just forgot.
Okay, I'll help you. Try.
Gajendro Bhagavato Sparshat.
What was he freed of?
Gajendro
Bhagavat Sparshat.
Vimukto Anubandhanat.
Ajnana.
Vimukto Ajnana Anubandhanat. Prapto Bhagavata Rupo. Pita
Vasa.
Pita Vasa Cha Vasascha Chaturbhuja. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Good try. So please try this, and if you try this 10 times between now and tomorrow's class, you'll remember it. And if you share with 2 or 3 people, then you'll remember for 2-3 years. Okay. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Gajendra ki jai, Śrī the Crocodile ki jai, Śrīla Radha Damodar ki jai, Shri
Jai.
Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki
Jai.
jai, Shri Indradumna Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
So tomorrow is actually Shri Prabhupada's disappearance day, and fasting till noon is recommended. So I encourage everyone to follow that. We cannot repay our gratitude to Prabhupada ever, but we can observe these special days and beg for his mercy. Great souls are very, very merciful on their appearance and disappearance days, especially, of course, every day, but these are special days, so we must observe. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samagati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Vancha Kalpasya, Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.